Welcome everybody to a special edition of 90 Day Fiance Fridays on I guess it's a holiday Monday night for the intro of Hunt for Love. So it was just nice with we're here with George and Gina. It was nice to see like a brand new show.
Yeah. I'm happy to
Yeah.
see a new show. There's not a lot of new faces, but it is a new
Hmm.
show, and that's what we asked for. And there are new faces, but they kind of just ignored them mostly
Hmm.
for the first episode, which was a weird vibe because even the singles were like, these people are like really cliquish and they know each other already. So I feel like weird. Like when Usman and Shantel were getting into it, I think Carlo just got up and walked away because it's
Hmm.
like I feel like they felt like they were out of place, and it's crazy because producers I guess didn't tell them that these people already know each other. So I feel like the producers kind of set them up.
Yeah, the producers didn't even say that it's anything like 90 Day Fiance related.
Well, not only that, but they didn't even know that these people have done TV before, and some of them together. So like it was weird. So I feel like it's going to like somebody's high school reunion, but you didn't go to their high school, but you're their plus one. That's kind of
Hmm.
how you would feel. Like everybody has some sort of pre relationship, but you're just some weird stranger. Like I feel like that's how they felt.
Yeah, so I feel like it's like a high school reunion where the other people know each other and you don't know anyone. And then on top of it, think of it as like the principal or the organizer of the reunion also likes the 90 Day people, but principal of the school doesn't give a rat's ass about you.
Well, right. It was just weird because they obviously let each 90 day person do like a little intro. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm Colt. I used to date Larissa," and then the single people were just there. They didn't even
Yeah.
like say like, "Hey, my name is so and so, and I'm from what?" Nothing. They were just like
Yeah.
there. Like that was just the weirdest shit to me.
They're
Yeah,
like
like for
background actors and characters
Yeah,
in
yeah,
you're
it's weird because like I already just being like online on Instagram and shit, I already know some things about the singles. For example, like that, I think his name, like, was it Rocco or Rocky?
Rocky.
Rocky, I think he's like one of those like fitness instructor type dudes. So like, but it didn't even, but then when I looked, when they show his like name in his photo or whatever, it doesn't even say his occupation. It just says his age. So they don't even, in the little card where it shows their name, it didn't even list their like jobs. So they don't even care that they don't even want the fans to know shit about them. Like they don't even give a fuck.
Well, yeah, and then we saw that they did their premiere party and they weren't invited.
Hmm.
So it does seem like Gina, they're background actors. They're just people that they planted there, for seat filling
for
purposes.
shits and giggles.
Yeah,
Like
Hmm.
it's like going to the Oscars and you have a seat filler. That's what basically they're
exactly.
doing.
They're like, well, Chantel and Usman are talking now, but let's just put a couple of seat fillers next to them just to
Hmm.
be there. And then did you notice there was one scene where Rob got into the van and Rob and Tim were in the van, and then there was like four of the singles in the back seat of the van, and Rob and Tim were talking. And they were just looking like really awkward while they were talking because they couldn't join into the conversation because they didn't know what they were talking about. And it's like
Hmm.
it was just the whole thing was just a weird vibe for me. So I don't know if the whole season is gonna be like that or if they're gonna do more like parts where they can get to know the singles, maybe
Hmm.
or whatever. But yeah, this whole first season was a little odd to me. Like I don't know if producers wanted it to seem odd or if they didn't know how to implement the new people with the old people or whatever. But it was just odd
Hmm.
for me.
I felt
The
like I was watching like a high school like meet and girls, like with the 90 Day Fiance cast in one area and then everybody else is shoved in between.
Though I will say, like, Elise has certainly made a name for herself on the first episode with the chick that made out with Rob.
Oh, our
The
resident
walking
Yeah,
STD.
our resident STD. So yeah, she made sure that everyone knew that that was where she did anal a year prior because that's something that you would bring up, Shabooty.
Hmm.
Wherever you go, you want to make sure that people know that you did
Well,
anal there.
that's how you impress Rob the Nod with like your anal
Well,
expertise.
this is
What?
true because I tweeted earlier. I was like, because Rob walked out and he was like, "There's a lot of good looking guys here, but I feel like I don't. They're not competition." I was like, "Exactly, Rob. They are good looking, but can they use a butt plug as good as you?" No, they
Yeah.
cannot. So they are not competition. You don't have to worry about that. And what are the odds that the two anal people, the butt plug guy and the anal girl, ended up hooking up on the first day? Like, what are the odds they were like drawn to each other?
Yeah, it was like kismet. It was, a match made in fate, heaven.
It was. It was. Oh, speaking of people and bloating, Shantel looks really bloated, right? Like
Yeah.
She does.
I don't even recognize her no more. Do you remember there was a movie called Ghostbusters and there was like the Marshmallow Man guy?
Oh my
Mhm.
God, George!
He looks like the Marshmallow.
No.
Okay, Gina, I'm just saying. I'm not even being mean, okay? But like picture the Marshmallow Man. You remember he was like really fat and
Mhm.
bloated and he was like
Oh
that's
my
what
God.
like you
The
know
next
how
thing you're gonna say, she's gonna look like the Michelin tire mascot.
oh yeah, I forgot about the Michelin tire. Yeah, that too. That too. And it's what kills me. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. But what kills me is Chantel looks like Tiffany's before photo.
Damn.
Because Tiffany lost 110 pounds, right? She looks freaking
Mhm.
amazing. And I was like, can you believe that Chantel paid someone to make her look like Tiffany's before photo?
Mhm.
Because I was like, Chantel was perfect the way she was. And now she actually paid people to make her look like she's
Well,
swollen.
well, now that she's all into like women and like lesbian type activities, she's turning into like the butch, heavy set woman.
I'm kind of seeing that actually. I'm kind of
Yeah.
seeing that. Like she lost that feminine,
Mhm.
soft look.
She's not the lipstick. It's
Yeah. She's
No,
like
like,
yeah.
she's not the lipstick in the
She's kind of
relationship.
she looks like the stud. I think in
Yeah.
the relationship where the woman is the more dominant, they call her the stud of that relationship. And I'm
mhm.
getting that vibe from her. And I was like, I never thought that about Chantel, but it's like again, you can never judge a book by its cover. A lot of women were married to men or men were married to women. Look at Sean. You can be married
Mhm.
to a lot of you can be married to the opposite sex for a long time, and then one day you wake up and you realize that you're just into the same sex. So I was like, maybe Chantel is going off the deep end. But I was also confused because we know we've met Ashley online, her slash friend slash girlfriend, and I think that she is the stud. Can there be two studs? Is that
Yep.
can that work?
If
Yep.
there
I've seen it.
if there can be a double-headed dildo, then there could be two studs.
Yep.
Oh.
Ah, okay, okay. See. I mean, whatever makes your boat float, right? If
Yeah.
you get in that boat and it start floating, whatever y'all want to do, y'all can do that.
I like how Sherry liked that joke, and Sherry's, let's just say Sherry's been around the block. But anyway.
Oh, she's been around the
Oh.
block. Okay.
Anyway. Um,
Also, Usman pretended that he didn't know who Courtney was,
oh
which
yeah.
he thought would be funny.
So when they were in Turkey, they fucked, right?
From what I was told, absolutely. They slept in the same bed, in the same
Mhm.
room. This was an inclusive trip for the two of them. It wasn't Usman happened to be in Turkey and Courtney happened to be. This was planned. Usman
Yeah.
and
Oh.
Courtney were in Turkey together for an extended period of time. So yeah, sleeping in the same bed with each other. So when he walked out and was like, "Oh, you don't even know me. You must be dreaming." I was like, "That's crazy, bro. You've been inside her." Like that's
Mhm.
crazy, bro. Like you act like you don't know her. And again, he thought it would be funny to joke. I don't know if Usman has met women. Women don't find that funny. Like if you've
Yeah,
had sex with her,
especially someone he
I don't
banged.
know. I don't know how she kept her cool because I would have slapped him right then and there.
right? I mean, we know that Usman has gotten a few drinks to the face because of his sense of humor with women. He finds things funny that women just don't find funny. And I feel like telling a woman that you've had sex with that you don't even know who she is, you're kind of looking to get smacked with something, right? Like women
Mhm.
definitely don't like to be made to feel like they weren't anything to you, especially women you were intimate with.
Well, karmaically, he tried to like big time Courtney, but then Chantel big timed him. So.
Well, yeah, Chantel was like,
Yeah, that was
that was actually really fun. Like she's like, I don't
that
know
was
who you
hilarious.
I have no idea who you are. Because, the
Mhm.
worst thing that you can do to a person who thinks they're the biggest celebrity in the world is pretend like you don't know who they are. My favorite thing, Gina, my favorite thing, you know this, to watch is videos of people walking up to celebrities and asking them who they are.
Mhm.
And my favorite one ever is the Jennifer Lopez video where she walks up to her old house in the Bronx and the guy
Yeah.
is like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I used to live here. My name is Jennifer." And he's like, "Jennifer who?" And she was like, "Jennifer Lopez." And he's like, "What do you do? Who is you?" And she was like, "Oh," and that's my favorite. That ego murder is like my
Mhm.
favorite thing to watch. So when Chantel was like, "Who are you? What do you even do?" And you could see his ego like slowly choking to death inside. It was so
Yeah.
fun to watch.
Yeah, that would be
It
like
was.
that'd be like if that'd be like if I ran into Liz like in person unexpectedly and she like didn't recognize me, like how heartbroken I would be.
Yes, that's exactly the feeling that the celebrities feel. Or they're walking out. Okay, so I've been to like different events. Like we've been to VMAs and stuff like that, and I've seen where celebrities will get out of the car and I can't talk. The
Paparazzi.
paparazzi won't take their picture because they don't recognize them. They are so offended. They're so
Mhm.
offended. It's basically like you're telling them that they don't exist or whatever. So yeah, it's that feeling. So you're walking down the street and Liz is walking down the street and you're like, "Hey Liz," and she's like, "Oh, hey, who are you?" That's the feeling. You're like, "Oh my god," it's like a stab to the heart, and then they take it and then they twist the
Mhm.
knife, right?
Yeah. Obviously that wouldn't happen, but yeah, that was a hypothetical.
Well, yeah, hypothetical. I highly doubt that that would happen. I feel like Liz would definitely know who you are. Like for
True. No, no, I'm just no, I'm just going through like my live tweets and stuff. So the first tweet I did was based off of that preview for later in the season where Jennifer with is it with two F's or two I's? It doesn't really matter, but Jennifer, she says I want to fuck Rob, and then I basically did a tweet where I said, well, according to a source named me myself and Shabooty Irene, she did f Rob the knob in the pool. So that was some tea that I spilled last year. So yeah, she hooks up with Rob in the pool apparently.
I mean, yeah, that is the tea, and you also told us the tea about Tim that
Mhm.
came out tonight too. They were actually dropping a lot of stuff in the first episode, which I was a little surprised by. Usually they spread out the bombshells
I
throughout the
think
season.
do you think because of like the bombshells leaked because of yours truly, then they were like, well, it's already out there, so we might as well like incorporate it more so in the previews and in the trailers and in the intros.
That could be because
Yeah.
actually you leaked it while they were still filming, so they had a lot of time in editing to release it whenever they wanted to.
Hmm.
So, that could be. They were like, well, since this is already out, let's get that tea out first so people will be more interested in what's to come. Because there are things that are going to happen that we aren't aware of. So maybe they felt that getting that stuff out right away will keep us engaged, which possibly, if it's really good, I was
Yeah.
very impressed with what we got tonight because a lot of people were telling me on Twitter, they were like, I'm not even watching it. It's going to be stupid. And I was like, well, if
Hmm.
you're watching the current season of 90 Day Fiance, then you can give this a try because that season is literally probably the worst season that I've ever watched. And I've watched every season. This season is
Yeah.
literally the worst.
Yeah, comparing the two seasons, I would be curious to know like if we looked at the names, like who was the editor for this show compared to like who's the editor for last night's show, I would bet money that it was a different editor, etc.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
can
think you're
find
right.
that out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I'll find that
director,
out.
yeah, director and editor. That would be interesting to. Oh, I wanted to read one of Captain Picard's tweets that she put out tonight because I heard it and I read it and I was laughing hysterically. So Usman said, "I'm an international superstar. I'm an artist. I can sing, and women are chasing me all the time." And then Captain Picard was like, a international superstar status, but you can't get your front tooth replaced." I was
Oh yeah,
like,
I saw that.
Captain, no. I was like, you can't say that,
Do
Captain. But I read it, caught me off guard, and I was laughing so hard that I was like, but it's true though, because the front teeth, you got to get the front ones fixed. Like if something
Mhm.
happens in the back, you can work on it, get your money together. The front ones you got to get fixed, right? If you're an
N- n-
international.
Now I'm tempted to like post that her tweet on Instagram so Usman sees it.
Oh, you have to. You have to.
Yeah.
Because I was like, look, I'm not even trying to hate, but that was the funniest thing in the world. Because I was like, I've
And
never met.
what did I say to add to that? He needs to find some cheap grills or like put aluminum foil covering it like they
Oh
did on
shit,
an
you're right. A
episode of
grill.
American.
No, Gina, you're right. A grill would completely cover that front missing tooth. You're right. All he needs is a decent little grill that he can
Mhm.
put in. Oh, I wanted to ask because a lot of people online really hate his new hair.
Hair.
So I wanted to get y'all's opinion. Do you think Usman looks old? A lot of people are saying that he looks older. One of the tweets I saw said he looks old as the women that he was trying to marry. So I was like, I wanted to know how you guys feel now. Do you think that this new look is doing him any favors, or do you think
Nope,
oh no?
No, yeah, I'm not a fan of the
no.
new. I'm not a fan of the new hairstyle with the dreads. I like it. I liked it how it was in like the music videos that he did and stuff back in the day.
Yeah, that hair did suit him. He looked younger, and I do think that Usman is looking kind of rough. compared to when we first met him. Like in
Yeah.
the hair with the teeth, he's looking a little rough, and I don't know how
Yeah.
they're going.
Before he tried to, he always says like international superstar. Now he looks like the superstar of like that stands in front of his grocery store.
Well, yeah, with the karaoke machine with the tip
Yeah.
jar, and he's singing. I'll be there for you, God. Like, yeah, that's the guy that I'm getting. That's literally what I'm
Yeah.
getting based on
Like
his.
he went from international status to like the guy in the corner status.
Yeah,
Playing the
yeah.
spoons. There's a guy, like a homeless guy here. He plays the spoons, like outside of the clubs and stuff. That will be Usman.
I
Yeah. Oh,
mean,
by the way, not to backtrack and not to throw us totally off like rhythm, but apparently I know George was a big fan of Captain Picard's appearance on last Friday's podcast.
oh my God, I listened back today. I had such a rough weekend, guys, but I listened back today, and oh my God, she was so fiery on
Hmm.
this podcast. She was amazing. So I'm really excited because I think you said that all of us will be back on Friday, and it's been like a hot minute since we were all together. So I'm
Yeah.
really, really excited to have Captain back and Coco back. So I'm freaking out because it's
Did you get an opportunity to listen to the whole thing?
yeah, I listened to the whole
Okay.
thing. I got a coffee table that delivered while I was out of town, and it
Mhm,
needed to be put together, and it was kind of like complicated because it had like
mhm.
lights and LED lights, and so I had like 3 hours. It took me like 3 hours, so I listened to the whole show, and I still had like stuff to do with the table. So yeah, I listened to the whole thing.
Okay, no, because the part where she guessed Triple X Beast's name on the first try, that was insane, right?
Well, I guessed it on the second try.
Yeah.
So I was a little shocked, but I know that y'all didn't tell her because
No, yeah, we didn't tell her.
No,
you wouldn't tell
no.
me. So I was
Yeah.
like, that was, but I want to say he does look like a Jeff.
Yeah.
But that was my second guess. I don't remember what my first guess was.
Wait,
Hmm.
you said Steve. You
Yeah, he looks like
said
a Steve.
Hmm.
James. You said a
Yeah. Okay.
James
So
as
maybe it
well.
wasn't my second guess. Maybe I was going down the list, but
Yeah.
I
And then
landed
you
on
said
Jeff.
Bob too.
Yeah, he looks like a Bob, a Robert. He does. He kind of
Hmm.
does, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, he does.
she also nailed it that he looks like the general manager of a Chili's. She nailed it. Like for real. Have you ever not been to a Chili's where there was a general manager in a
Hmm.
Hawaiian shirt asking you if your food was okay? I've never
Yeah.
not that never
With
happened.
like a bubbly personality.
Yes, he comes up to your table, is like, everything okay? And he's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and he's like GM. I was like, I can totally see that. So yeah, she was spot on. I love that she was able to react live to the photos because her reactions were just amazing. It's funny because I got to be like a listener for that
Hmm.
show because I wasn't there. So when I was going back to listen, I was like watching and listening to her react, and it was really fun. So I got to be a listener for the day, and I'm enjoying it. So now I know why the listeners enjoy it so much because it was a lot of fun.
The one thing I will say, and not to like derail, we'll get back on Hunt for Love in a second. The only thing I want to say is like, uh, all the other bloggers and stuff, they're lucky that George wasn't there because my favorite thing is like when my tea ends up being accurate, and then George and I are on, and we basically, we get to like, spread out our peacock feathers, if you will. But George wasn't on that Friday, so I wasn't able to like fully gloat like I would normally because he kind of brings it out of me. But otherwise, I would have went ham on the gloating.
Well, there's nothing wrong with what's the word that I used to call it? Stroking your own feathers.
Showboating.
Showboating. When you're right
Hmm.
and people were naysaying you, I see nothing wrong with gloating a bit. And when we did the Jasmine emergency podcast, that was my favorite gloating episode because I just
Yeah.
had to take like the first 10 minutes to just call out every single naysayer that said that we falsely put a baby in that woman's stomach. And I was like, why would I do that? So I
Mhm.
had to make sure that everyone was aware that, hey, you're messing with the wrong ones. If you're looking for somebody who's telling lies, there's plenty of bloggers out there that are, but you're not going to find that over here.
True. All right. I'm sure this Friday we'll have more. We'll get back into that. So let's get back to Hunt for Love. Um,
Again, I want to apologize, Shabooty, that I interrupted you yesterday for Captain to guess Triple X Beast's name, but I'm kind of glad I did now. Oh,
oh yeah. No, that was a good idea to discuss that. um, True. So I'm just going through my tweets again. Yeah. So one thing that George alluded to earlier, it's you again. You can look up on my Twitter at Shabooty. It's like this was the when Rob the Knob and Usman and Jennifer were talking about Tim. Basically, they're saying like, yeah, and he likes that, and he would let a guy bang you, while you're there. So, and then my tweet was basically saying, I reported this last year when I spilled all that Hunt for Love tea that Tim was into watching another guy do his girl type stuff
Mhm.
allegedly. So yeah, that tea was accurate since it was
It
featured heavily on the
was.
show.
It
It
was, it was.
was.
And we got a little more tonight because she said that, well, she told us a little insight because she was like, we were out and he asked me if he wanted, shit, I can't talk. He asked her if she wanted to go to a strip club. And she said, yeah. And she wanted to go, she told him because he was in her area where the women's strip club was. And then he was like, no, I want to take you to a men's strip club.
Hmm.
Then she said they get in and a male stripper walks by and Tim goes on to say, is that not the most attractive guy in here? To Jennifer. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, he is. And then he pays to have a lap dance from this guy for Jennifer. This whole interaction is just weird for me. And it is giving me those vibes where he likes to see his woman with a man that he thinks is attractive. And again, I don't know what that lands under because it doesn't necessarily land under a certain gender because he's not touching the guy or whatever, but there it lands under something where you like to see a
Hmm.
guy that looks a certain way banging your girl. And I think Diddy like that, right? Isn't that what
Hmm.
Diddy was into? He wanted to see some guy that he thought was attractive banging his
Yeah,
chick.
Diddy would pay a male sex worker to bang Cassie in front of him.
Well, right. And then he would just watch, and do whatever they do, whatever. So it gave a little insight on, what you alluded to. Oh my God, shoot. Was it like October? Like this was so long ago. I feel like this was
Yeah,
like the longest time.
September, I think.
Oh, September. Yeah. So this was so long ago. But none of this surprises me though, right? Like Tim is like,
Mhm.
oh, I like women with long hair and they have
Yeah,
to
no,
have
that's what real quick, that's what I was gonna say is when everyone were meeting the singles and the 9-day people, like a guy would normally be like, oh, I'm really attracted to that chick's ass or that chick's boobs, and then Tim was like, oh, I really like that woman's hair, you know.
Yeah, that was a
I've
weird.
never heard a guy say, what I look for in a woman first is her hair.
Yeah.
No,
Wait,
no,
what?
Gina, I've heard that from gay
I've never
guys.
heard it.
No,
Yeah,
I have totally heard that.
Yeah,
exactly.
I
from
have
Sean the
friends.
hairdresser Burger King guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are gay that are super inquisitive and intuitive, and they notice a lot of
Of
things.
course.
Some of them are makeup artists. Some of my gay friends are hairdressers or whatever.
Of
So
course,
yeah,
mine
they
too.
they
But
say
I've
that
never
all the
heard a
time.
straight guy say the first thing I look for in a woman is her hair.
Well, no, me neither. I've never heard that. I look at boobs,
Boobs
ass,
and
you
booty.
know,
TNA.
that's
Mhm.
just, it's shallow and it's ignorant,
So
but
did you notice when like Tiffany was doing her intro, like walking at the beginning of the show, like walking into the resort, the camera was like straight pointed at her ass.
yeah, I did. And she was wearing those really tight yoga type pants. Yeah, I
And
noticed.
I'm
Yeah.
sure you were very happy about that, George.
Tiffany looked great. I was very happy. Tiffany looks great. I love her on the show. It's not fun watching her like hook up with all these dudes, but we're not dating. We never were. So it is what it is. But she looks amazing. And I'm happy to see her be happy. And she's free and divorced from Ronald. That
Mhm.
information came out. She wasn't when this aired, but she is free. So there's two people married when this was airing. Um, what's his name? Rob was
Rob,
still married and Tiffany was still married because
Oh, and
that
then technically Colty's still married.
wait,
Like
is
meaning
Colt
like meaning
still
like
married to
legally, meaning like
Vanessa?
paperwork wise.
Wait, why haven't they finished that? Is he broke?
we no, we had that discussion before,
Yeah.
George.
Wait, what was the discussion?
The discussion was Vanessa tried to file, but then there's some error in the
Oh,
paperwork,
there
and
was
then it got thrown
a
out, and then she has to refile, but she doesn't want to spend the money to refile yet, or something. I don't know.
yeah, there was a
And then his
clerical.
debt becomes her debt as
Yeah,
Oh
well.
yeah,
he's in
that's
debt, so
true.
she's in debt.
That's true. So I guess there's three married people at the filming. But I know that word is very weird because they say that for separated people, and you could be separated for years. So it's like
Yeah.
legally you're married, but you're not even with that person. You don't like Shantel was like, I don't even know where Pedro is. So like it would be weird to say that she was still married to Pedro, even though they were married for like a couple of years after they broke up. Because she didn't even know where he was. Like he could have been in
Mhm.
jail for all she knew. So it's weird to say that that's still your husband.
True. And then I'm just again going through my live tweets. when Elise was first meeting with Rob the Knob, and I basically did a tweet saying she basically grabs him by the arm while they're lying down. And I said, when a woman grabs your arm, that means she's way into you, like a body language expert would say that. And then I said, I think she wants her tongue to be Rob's newest butt plug, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to be funny,
She's a
obviously.
cougar on the prowl.
See, oh,
On the
I
prowl.
gotta talk about Elise a little bit because I was having some banter online with the captain because she's 31
Hmm.
and everything about her face is giving me 41 to 45. So, like, how do y'all feel about Elise? Is she just like a hoochie and she got around, or
Like,
are y'all
mhm.
getting like older vibes?
So here's what threw me off a little bit, because again, as you know, the show, like in real life and the show, there aren't like Instagram filters on the show or whatever. Like what you are is pretty much on the show is what kind of what you look like in real life. But so I was, I follow Elise on like Instagram, but on Instagram, I don't know if she filters, but on Instagram, she looks way younger. No, no, not a shock, but on Instagram, she looks like she's in her 20s or something. But then on the show, she looks way older. So I
I
feel like
mean,
We all use filters.
yeah, but I'm
Mm.
gonna say this in a respectful but disrespectful way. She looks like a contestant on MILF Manor.
Mhm.
Uh,
Not to be
I can
mean, but
no.
31 is a stretch for me. Like, I was just like, if you really are 31, like, you were raised as rough as I was. Like, that's wild to me. And, I don't know her or whatever, but I was just like, I don't know, like 31. And also, I wanted to ask the crowd, right? Because she's really aggressive. Like, Rob was like, I don't want to be making out with you. I want to respect you. And she was really aggressive. And I know when I date, I don't too much like when women are overly pushy, like especially when you first meet. I like to like have a conversation, maybe spend time together. So like, how do you feel, Shabooty, like if you're talking to a woman that you just met and she's like pressuring you into doing
Mhm.
like making out or doing anything, like how does that make you feel? Because it's kind of a turn off for me.
Um, I would probably act different if I was on the show. I would probably act different than like not on camera. But so if I wasn't on camera, I'll be honest. Like, well, when I mean, maybe it was smart on Rob's part to play a little hard to get when he like wouldn't immediately kiss her. But I'll be honest, I probably would have like started. I don't care if we were in public, but as long as we're not on television, I would probably start making out with her and shit.
Oh, okay. I mean, what I'm saying, like, if she's attractive and, I'm actually just looking to have fun, that's one thing. But, like, I don't know the best way to put this. Like, I like to know who I'm sleeping with, at least, like, know their last name, I
Yeah.
guess. Like, before we get intimate, I would like to us to ate dinner or went to something together. I know where to drop you off in
Mhm.
case you pass out. Like
Yeah.
I need a little more information that you did anal there a year ago. Like I need a little more
Mhm.
info.
Remind me what she said. Like she said she got proposed to 5 times and she got
And
engaged 3 times.
yes, proposed 5, engaged 3.
Mhm.
So what do you think about that? Because
Isn't that the same thing, being proposed and engaged?
No, because she said
no,
no twice out of 5.
yeah, I was
So
gonna
she
Oh,
said
say.
yes 3 times.
Yeah, it depends on if
okay.
you say yes. So, what does that say to you, though? Because you have to be doing something right to get men to propose to you, right? Because there are some women
Mhm.
who've never been proposed to. So, she's doing something right, but is she, because I think Rob or Tim, can't remember who said it now, but they were like, she gives a one of the guys vibe.
And
And
then and then Rob was correct. He said like she gives like yacht girl energy, and if you look at her Instagram, she's like always on a yacht.
right, right. She gives that energy, and it seems like she used another term that I thought was weird. She was like, Rob seems like he would be a good lay. And I don't
Mhm.
typically hear women speak about sex that way. There's nothing wrong
Mhm.
with it. I think women should be open with their sexuality, and if they just want to have fun, there's nothing wrong with that. But she did give me that one of the guys vibe. Like if me and you were talking,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, yeah, she'd be a good lay. Like that's how we would talk between each other. But it's weird
Mhm.
when you hear it from a
So
woman because usually women are more emotional.
yeah, like so what's weird is like before I watch a show, again, I know her knew her just from Instagram, and then when you look at her Instagram, she comes across as like unobtainable and kind of like like super hot and like a model type, and like it would be impossible to get her. But then when I saw her on the show and the way she acts, she's long as you're smooth and is somewhat attractive, like she's definitely like gettable. So like she's way more gettable than it felt about her just based on her Instagram.
Yeah, she kind of went in there a little desperate. But I
Yeah.
think when you're on these type of reality shows, the more desperate you act, I think in my mind, she thought the more camera time she was gonna get.
But
So
I
she,
think compared to the other singles, that is kind of being accurate so far.
well, yeah, because she's the only one we're talking about.
Yeah, no, and then also, like there's the different promo like marketing materials. There's the one where it's just like 3 or 4 of the like singles, and the rest of the singles aren't on that picture, the graphic. And she's one of the ones that's like on that one graphic with the singles.
Well, and that's another thing that I want to bring up because we didn't see our superstar, our elementary school teacher,
Yeah, Shelby.
Shelby. So I'm wondering, do you think they're going to interchange the singles? Like, say for instance, the
Mm-hmm.
singles. Okay, so you think so? Because I was like, what if, for instance, because there's one guy who was really nasty to Chantel. He's like, I hope she doesn't pick me for a date. I can't
Mhm.
stand her. I don't want nothing to do with her. I was like, so what if that after a while, if you don't, attach to one of the 90 day people, they switch you out? Because I was like, maybe that's where Shelby came into
I
play.
think so.
Yeah, so and maybe it's the thing where the first week they have that first batch of singles and they kind of let you kind of click up and find your click and get comfortable. And as soon as you get comfortable, then they like throw you for a loop and say, "All right, we're introducing you to a new batch of singles." And then next week the new
Mm-hmm.
batch comes in, and then you're kind of thrown back off your comfort zone, out of your comfort zone.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you think that you found somebody, and then they pull the rug from under you and make you start over. So yeah, I can see that too. But yeah, because I was looking for our little superstar,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Where's she at?" So I was like, "Something is
Yeah.
gonna happen. They're gonna switch it up somewhere, and bring in other singles." And then when I saw that scene with the guy who was like, "I don't like you, Chantel. I don't even want to talk to you. I don't want to be around you." I was like, "See, I think that there might be people that are repulsed." And they're gonna remove them because they don't make good TV. You even if you're on a dating show, you have to kind of pretend to like people, right? Even if you
Hmm.
don't. Because at the end of the day, this isn't married at first sight. Y'all ain't getting married at the end. Just pretend like you're getting along. If you want the camera time, you gotta play the role.
Yeah, and then I heard like I'm not sure how many weeks they filmed or how many like everyone like but so let's say at the very least they filmed. Well, I know at the very least they filmed 2 weeks, but so what I heard was let's say so okay, if the barometer or the baseline is 2 weeks plus 2 weeks plus of filming, I heard the Shelby chick only filmed 1 week total for her.
Also, she's a second batcher. So
Yeah.
she was probably the second batch. So that means, you know what? That means that the first batch, those were the ones that made the cut. Those were the people that they thought were the hottest. And
Hmm.
then when it didn't work out, then we're gonna get the sloppy seconds batch of the
Hmm.
people who
Mm-hmm.
who got a call back, but they didn't make the final call or whatever,
Yeah.
which is gonna be interesting enough to see. But I wanted to get everybody's vibe on the singles. Did you think the singles were hot?
Well, one
Because
thing, this isn't a hot thing, but hot comment, but do you remember when like Chantel was in the hot tub with the guy with all the tattoos and they were both kind of like they both had nothing to talk about because they didn't have
oh,
personalities?
Edwin,
Yeah,
yeah,
Edwin.
that was my thing because he had the tats, he had the abs, he had zero personality, and I've noticed the hotter the person, the less they have to work to get attention because especially gym bros,
Hmm.
they're like humongous. They
Hmm.
have all these shirtless pictures. They're fitness trainers. They're Sarper, right? They don't have much to offer in the personality department. And I think that's where, and it happens with women too. The hotter the
Hmm.
girl, the bigger the boobs, the less interesting she is. Like the
Yeah.
conversation is not really gonna stimulate your mind. But
Hmm.
for me, as long as she looked like Tiffany, I'm good to go.
Okay,
Like,
well, I have a comment about Tiffany, and you may or not, since you're a Tiffany fan, you may or may not like the comment. But so remind me that what's the guy's name? Is it Rocky or Rocco?
Rocky.
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 Wait,
Okay.
is Rocky the stash guy, the guy with the porn
Yeah,
stash?
yeah, the porn
Yeah,
stash.
that's
Yeah.
So,
Rocky.
okay, well, okay, entertain this conversation for me. And I know Tiffany's a girl, so I don't want to like badmouth her. But so here's my question, and I'm not saying Tiffany isn't pretty. Like, obviously, she has like her face card's amazing, really pretty face and all that. But here's my question: Rocky, I'm pretty sure he's like a fitness instructor, so fitness guy, fitness guru. Now, my question is, and again, I know Tiffany's pretty, and I know Tiffany lost a bunch of weight, but at the same time, as far as beauty standards of like a fitness person, a fitness instructor, would Rock if it wasn't for like a reality show, would Rocky the fitness instructor go for a Tiffany who while she's pretty, she's not like also not like a fitness instructor level of fit. Like, would he go for her if it wasn't on a reality show?
Oh yeah. I mean, I know like fitness people in real life. Like one of
Mm-hmm.
my friends is like a fitness guy and his girlfriend is also a fitness person. So they usually don't
Mm-hmm.
go for people that don't share that same passion for fitness
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
even though it can be a totally separate thing, they go to the gym together, they eat the same healthy stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I think you're right. I think he would find her to not be at the caliber of fitness passion that
Mm-hmm.
he has. Because let's use Sarper as an example. Sarper last night said that if she kind of went over 128 pounds, then somehow her value diminishes to him. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that fitness people kind of look at your value and beauty and health as a number on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
And there that can be true to some extent. If you weigh 400 pounds, they're 100% right. The number on that scale does matter. How your life expectancy can change. But I think the shallow. I don't want to say that fitness people are shallow, but at the end of the day, it's 99% weight and looks for them. They don't really need a lot of stimulating conversation. You know?
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
add to that? For
Yeah.
someone who was heavier before, George, you've seen my before pictures. I think Shabooty's seen my before pictures. And I didn't do no surgery or Ozempic or anything like that. But now what's on my list is the same thing. Like, I don't want any, like, I want the guy who has the same interests as me and same goals as me, which is eating right, eating healthy, going to the gym, right? So that is on my bucket. Like, that's my like what
Mm-hmm.
the qualities that I look for now. Where before, when I never used to go to the gym, that wasn't part of the quality. Like, it played a part, but it wasn't really important whether or not they went to the gym or not. Now it plays a major role. Now that that I'm going to, I don't want to slug basically. And looking, I just took a glance at her Instagram. I'm like, okay, I see no, like, you could go to the gym and not post it, but like, a person should be happy to show off their accomplishments and where they started from to where they're at and continuing on that cycle, even though she had a sleeve done or whatnot, should be going to the gym, should be maintaining a healthy diet and whatnot. So, and I'm not bashing her. Like, I know you love her, George, too, and I like her too, right? But it's just taking the easy way out is for chumps, basically, as I
Mm-hmm.
like to put it. It's for
Oh,
Mm.
chumps.
oh.
So
No
speaking
offense, George. No offense, George.
No, I think I mean that's a good point though because for someone who did it the natural way through diet and exercise, and then someone who gets a gastric sleeve or a gastric bypass, there are some factors between that where they say, oh well, you took a shortcut, like because that's what they call it. It's a shortcut when you know two different ways to get there, and one has a toll and one doesn't. You're going to take the shortcut. So that does make a difference. And again, when it comes to fitness people, they don't believe in shortcuts. So
Mhm.
like you said, this guy is probably not interested in her in the way that he's pretending because it is what it is. Like you said, when people work really hard to achieve their goal, they surround themselves with people who do the same thing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
speaking, and again, not to like fat shame, but speaking of slugs, did you see the screenshot I posted of Colty climbing into bed naked?
Ew, ew, why do we
Wait,
have to see
where did you
that
post that? I didn't see
On my
that.
Twitter? I
on
even
his
retweeted myself.
Twitter? Oh,
Why was he naked? I have so
Y-
many
Go
questions.
look it up on my Twitter, everyone,
oh
at
God,
Shabooty.
Okay, I'm
no.
looking
Unless
now.
you want to go blind, do not go look at that.
And I
When
said,
did this
why?
happen? I was watching the show. I
I,
didn't even notice it.
I definitely paused it and took a photo, and I said, ew, why does Colty sleep in his birthday
Oh
suit?
my God. Are you actually serious? He has
Yeah.
like
Oh my
the
God.
biggest, humongous, whitest ass I've ever seen. Good Lord. There are women who pay good money for asses that size.
Yeah.
Who is he? Oh, there's no, because I was like, who's in the bed with him? It doesn't look like nobody. That
No, he ain't nobody in the bed with him.
that
Ew.
makes sense.
But
That makes sense.
imagine if you went to that resort and you're like, oh my God, I think I recognize this room. This is where Colty slept naked.
I would request
Ew.
a new room. I would request a new room. Just
Yeah.
just say it. I would. Oh, I wanted to ask because I put a poll out on Twitter. So Tiffany said that she was into guys with porn stashes. So
Mm.
Gina, what do you
No.
think of mustaches and beards?
No.
Is that a
No.
good? So it's a no, no matter what. So
Mhm.
no matter what the guy looks like, it's absolutely no.
Yeah, it gives me like really creepy vibes. I don't know, like pedophile creepy vibes. I don't know why. That's just me. Like
What?
whatever floats
Nah.
somebody's boat, go ahead.
Yeah,
But it
like
just gives me like creepy porn star pedophile vibes. I don't know why.
this. Well, yes, a
Oh,
lot of times I'll have like hot 90 Day Fiance fans that follow me on Instagram, and then I'll look at their profile, and a lot of the hot ones they have boyfriends with like
with
mustaches, and
mustaches.
I get kind of irked because I'm like, I don't get it. I'm with Gina. Like, I don't see the hype of the mustache.
Appeal.
See, I remember. Here's a weird story. So when I was like 13, I had a mustache.
Mhm.
Don't ask me why. It was the weirdest thing. And I shaved it, and I've shaved like since I was 13. I've always had like a mustache, and I never understood the appeal of having one. But what you just said is very true. Hot girls are into guys with mustaches, and I don't know if it's like a daddy thing. Like
Mhm.
girls like to think of their man as like their daddy. Not dad,
Mhm.
but like their daddy. And daddy vibes is like he's older, he's mature, he's wise, he's taking care of you. If you get hurt, he would know what to do. And I was like, I wonder if it's linked to that. Because, if someone looks like a kid and they look young, they might not
Mhm.
have that wise thing that the girls need. Because a lot of these girls might have had daddy issues growing up and they're
Mhm.
looking for a
But
smart.
Tiffany, it does get along with her dad.
Oh, yeah, really well. Really, really
Mhm.
well.
Exactly. So I
Uh,
don't see no daddy issues there.
Speaking of daddy issues, did you like my tweet about Tim where I said Tim looks like a twink fluffer on the set of a gay porno parody called Rambone?
See, I loved it. And the way that he was dressed, right? Like, I mean,
Mhm.
Tim is always dressed a certain way. And what he was
Oh
wearing,
god.
because his shape was really strange. And I got to add, guys, I've already received a reply tweet from
Oh.
Tim. So far, we're only on episode 1. He's already butthurt. So I just know things are not going to go well between Tim and I this season because I let him have it in my tweets tonight. I think I told y'all yesterday, I was like, my tweets are going to be extra mean tonight because I was like, because some of these people on the show have always irked me. So I was like,
Mhm.
I'm just going to let them have it. And we weren't even 20 minutes, Gina, we weren't even 20 minutes in, and I already had a reply back from Tim Malcolm. And I was like, okay, I can see that this is not going to go well. This season
Mhm.
is not going to go well.
Yeah, no, I remember in the past he had back in the day he had replied to me on Twitter, and I instantly got annoyed and blocked him. So I don't put up with that bullshit.
I didn't reply. I was just like, and I've gotten stuff from Veronica too. They get butt hurt really fast, and it's like, guys, this is all fun and games. Like it's all
Yeah.
fun and games.
Take a joke.
It's a
Mhm.
joke, and if you go on TV and you got on more eyeliner than the girls on the show,
Most women there.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say something about it, okay? Like it
But
is what it
mhm.
is. It's you put it in front of my face. It's on my TV. I can't ignore the fact that you have on more eyeliner than everybody else. So I have to point it out, right?
But did he not look like a 90s boy band person with the dog tags, with the
Well,
sunglasses?
Gina, if that's what boy band people look like, you were into weird, creepy dudes too.
No, I
Because
didn't
that
say
was
I
weird.
liked that, but he looked like
Oh,
a
okay.
90s boy band member. And then I tagged a band here from Canada. I'm like, the spiky hair, the freaking dog collar, the side back. Like, yeah, that was like the
Mhm.
90s, and he's still living in it.
Maybe he thinks that he's still like 21. Maybe
Mhm.
that's why he does it or whatever. I don't know. I've never been able to understand him. Like
But
everything that he says confuses me. He's a very confusing human being. Everything that he says, based on what he does, contradicts what he says. So I've never been able to understand him.
By the way, yeah. So, by the way, to our listeners, we didn't get a chance to do like a season 11 recap wrap up show last night. We'll probably do that Friday because of time. Though I did want to say one thing about like cast members getting butt hurt because I did this one tweet yesterday and I said like this isn't related for Hunt for Love, but this is about last night's show. And I said like things more fun than watching this thruple, and it's like a picture of that guy that got trapped like in a cave or something, like head first.
Oh my god, I tweeted about that recently.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So I posted that, so that tweet did really well on like Twitter. At like has like 6,000 views and 142 likes right now. but and then I wanted to post it on Instagram, and then I don't know if you saw, but then on Instagram I did like a warning sign to Amani, and I was like, I don't want to hurt your feelings on this meme, so here's like a yield sign for you, just to let you know. So I did that. Then I posted that the the thruple the tweet from last night. I posted that as like the second slide on Instagram. So I didn't want to hurt Amani's feelings. So what did you think about that?
Oh,
uh,
I mean, it's true though. I think a
hmm
couple weeks ago I did kind of a tweet similar to that where I
hmm
listed off things I'd rather do than watch their segments, and I think one of them was cut off my fingers. Another one was pull out teeth without Novocaine. And I think another one was gouging my eyes out. Like I was like, those are just things that I would do. I would do in place of watching the throuple because that's how torture.
Hey, I cleaned toilets before when, like, I cleaned the house, like, I cleaned the washroom when their
hmm
segment is on. So go figure what I think of their segment.
So yeah, if she's offended, then she should be because she should have came with better storyline. You know, like, and I
hmm
again, 50% her fault, 50% the producer's fault. Like, I'm not giving all the blame to her, but you came in there with a weak ass storyline, and I'm gonna poke
hmm
holes in it because I don't even have to poke holes in it. To be honest with you, the holes were already there. I'm just pointing them out,
Yeah, so
right?
I do have. I'm not gonna spill it tonight, but on hopefully on Friday's show when we talk about last Sunday's show, uh, I have like some tea to spill related to that. So we'll get into it on Friday.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, all right.
so
I mean,
that's a
Okay.
little, yeah, that's a little teaser. All right, so we're down to our last like 10 minutes because we're gonna end it at around midnight. So any other people we want to talk about?
Also, I put out a tweet and it said that I always liked Jennifer. Okay, so I used to get Jennifer and Fernanda confused. Don't judge me. But whenever we would talk about Jennifer or Fernanda, I would usually be talking about the wrong person. And then tonight, it became extremely obvious to me that that was stupid because Jennifer is like, okay, so what's the better way to put this? Fernanda has zero personality, and
hmm
Jennifer has a funny personality. Like, I like Jennifer's personality, so I don't know how I ever confused her with Fernanda
hmm
because Fernanda literally has no personality whatsoever.
I will
So
say Jennifer was giving it good. She was giving it to Tim good as far as her
I
snapbacks.
know I kind of feel like she was threatening him because she
hmm
came in there and she was like, "There's so much stuff that I could say
And
about
then
you."
she was like, "Yeah, there's not even either like us being friends is just not gonna happen."
Well, yeah, I feel like she's there to torture him, and I'm
Yeah,
all for it,
Hmm.
right? I feel
which is
Yeah,
like
pretty
I'm here for it.
which is pretty ballsy because like even if there's no opportunity of them being friends, usually most people if you're like at an event or a mixer or whatever, you'll just at least you'll like lie to their face it's like yeah. Well, we could be friends, like just to be cordial to one another. But she was like, no, 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 we're not even gonna be friends. Fuck that. You'd think she would try to be cordial just for the shoot, but she wasn't having it.
no, yeah, I think that, well, if you remember, I think they showed a couple of clips from her
hmm
tell all with Tim. She was pretty nasty. Like, I think she said that calling him a pussy would be too nice
hmm
because she said some pretty horrible stuff at that tell all. So I knew that the wounds that she had with Tim were deep. So I think when they called her for the show, it was less about a dating show. It was more about I can finish destroying him. And I feel like
So
that's kind of what she wanted to do.
So do you think when they had Jennifer there and they had Tim there and then they had the like was it masquerade masks? Do you think that was like a brilliant move on the producer's part to them being masked before they unveiled it?
I think they all knew before they got there. I think either you said it or George said it that they all knew that they were all going to be on the show
Oh yeah, I tweeted it out. So yeah,
Okay.
before.
when the cast list got released, just like with other shows like Single Life and stuff,
hmm
there's an inter banter between the cast members. They know who's
Okay.
gonna be on, even if like one person started filming but another person didn't start filming. They know what's going on. So the masks were what's the word? It's not ceremonial, but like um what's the word where you do it?
Ornamental?
Ornamental, right? Because they knew what was going on. They knew who was going to be there, and I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
Tim had to agree to do the show by knowing she was going to be there or whatever. So yeah, those
Okay.
masks were stupid. And when Rob is sitting next to Chantel and they act like they don't know they're talking to each other, no, that's not what was going down. But it was fun to pretend, right? We can play pretend.
Sure. All right. Well, I got set straight. Yeah. So I tried to compliment the producers, but let me walk the compliment back.
Yeah, they didn't. They knew what was going on, and because I remember, I don't want to say who I know or what I know, but I remember a certain cast member was asking around after they got cast. They're like, "Who else is going to be on? Are you going to be on?" And they started talking to another cast member, and they said
Mhm.
yes. And then there was a group chat, so like people knew, right? So if
Yeah.
anybody is telling, oh, you know who wasn't in that group chat though, I can tell y'all, Colt wasn't. So Colt might not have known who was going to
Mhm.
be in it because nobody talks to Colt. So
Yeah.
if Colt said on the show he didn't know that those people were there, he really didn't.
True. Well, yeah. Either way, yeah. I probably, you know what I need to do is I need to go back to my, my tea post that I spilled in like September, October, and fill myself in because I literally like spilled almost everything that happens. So I need to remind myself.
Well, you kind of spilled word for word the entire first episode
Yeah.
because the whole time I was watching, every time something happened, I was like, Shabooty talked about that already. Shabooty talks about that already. You talked about that already. That because it was shocking. I was like, well, if
Like,
you
oh, deja vu.
no, it was weird though because I was like, what if that was everything, and now we got to watch another 14 episodes, and we already know.
Uh,
I was like, I hope
uh,
that's not the case
that.
because you
Mhm.
already told us everything. So hopefully, there's more to come.
No, yeah, that's a worry actually. I mean, I might have spilled all the interesting, plot points that happens, and there's like nothing exciting that happens beyond that.
Well, we know that certain people are gonna hook up, right? We know Shantel is gonna hook up with a girl.
Mhm.
We know that Rob is gonna hook up with a certain person. So we know those
Yeah.
things are
And
coming.
and then we know Colty's gonna get injured and shit.
Right. We know that Colt's gonna get injured and have to leave in an ambulance. Like we know certain things. So I guess we have something to look forward to, but there better be some shit that we don't know, right? Like because we
Yeah.
don't want to just keep watching it like a rerun. We want something new to be thrown in there too.
Yeah, but just after all of like Sunday, season 11 Sundays episodes, watching this was a breath of fresh air because
Oh,
I
fuck
swear it was
yeah.
such a drag watching the Sunday shows.
Yeah, I came home and I watched it last night and I was bored. But also
Mhm.
I was tired because I was traveling and I was in North Carolina and
Mhm.
I was really trying, but I felt
Yeah.
like you know how you have a task to do and you have to finish like you're at
Yeah.
work
It's
but you
like home,
can't.
it's like homework and
It
shit.
was like homework because I was like, well, I
Yeah.
gotta do this. I
And
have
then, and then did you see I know we're not to like keep jumping around. Did you see and it's not a hunt for love thing, but did you see the Stevie meme I did where it's like a meme where does Stevie eat the box? Yes, no, and then the other option
Mm-hmm.
is I have a headache, but I'll get back to you in 5 episodes from now. Did
Oh
you see that?
yeah, I saw that. I think I commented on that
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, you did actually. You're right. Uh, I was a little disappointed because I went and I think why I tagged Stevie, so then it went to her like DMs. When you tag someone, and then it said that she saw the DM, so aka like seen the status of the DM was seen, so she saw it. And then I went to the actual post because again it was like it's supposed to be a funny post, a funny meme. So I went to the actual post and then I checked like all the people that liked the post, and Stevie never liked the post. So I was a little disappointed in her lack of sense of humor for not liking the post.
They're
Oh,
vanilla. They will not have a
is
sense of
she
humor.
is she joining the butthurt club? Like,
I
is that
guess
what's going on?
so.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
she started out very like with a sense of humor. I would hate for her to end up in the butthurt club.
Yeah. So that's
Pretty
the
sure
problem.
Maudie's already in the butthurt club because
Yeah.
he gets mad at everything. So like, we don't need any more of those people, you know?
Yeah. I mean, as bad as the season is, the least they could do is, play along with our funny memes and stuff.
I mean, it's hilarious, and if they don't see the comedy in it, that's how it
Hmm.
was with Jasmine. It's like you don't see
Yeah.
the comedy in the stuff that you do, like you have to see it, right? Like
Mhm.
we're not pulling this stuff out of our ass. You literally are hilarious, and you just have to embrace that.
Yeah. And it's like right now you may not find it funny, but then when you're either off the air or off the season and like nobody's talking about you, you're gonna be like, damn, I wish Shabooty would make a funny meme about me now because nobody gives a fuck about me right now.
Well, right, and I
Like
have
Natalie.
I have some of my friends that message me or talk to me or call me and they're like, "Did you see what Shabooty posted about me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Why was it funny?" And I was like, "It's supposed to be funny." They were like, at first I was mad, but they were like, then I started laughing. I was like, "It actually is funny." And I was like, "That's what you're supposed to do. There's humor in it." And I was like,
Yeah.
"You
It
can't
it's
see
we
the yeah, you got
yeah.
to be able to see the humor, you
Well,
know?"
but you know what? And it's yeah, like, but one thing that is annoying though is because again, it's like it's like with comedy, you can, and also with comedy, you can't like pick and choose. You can't say like with comedy, you can't say like, oh, this post by this person is funny, but the next post about me, I don't find funny. It's like you either have to find a person funny and then you have to give them like the gesture pass. Like I'm giving you like a pass just to be a gesture or whatever. Like you're funny, so you get a pass to say whatever the fuck you want. You can't be like, you can't pick and choose and say this joke was funny and this one I'm offended by, so now I'm mad at you. Like you either have to like love everything somebody does or you not love like anything that they do. You can't like pick and choose too.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Like, there's no actual in between. Either the
Yeah.
joke is funny or it's not. And you're right, people pick and choose. They're like, oh, well, this was kind of funny, but this wasn't funny. And it's like, you signed up to do a TV show and the producers made it out for you to be funny or for it to be humorous or comical. Like, they put what's his name in a cow suit yesterday. It's supposed to be a meme. And if you
Mhm.
don't want people to make memes out of you, then you got to avoid doing these types of shows because that's what they're literally doing. Like Darcy and Stacey, they literally filmed their whole seasons to make memes out of them, and they were fine with it because they were making money. So either you like what they're doing with you, or you don't.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, it's midnight, and I unplugged my. I had set an alarm, but I unplugged my device so the alarm wouldn't go off. But we're pretty much at the end of our show because you know what? I want to actually. My goal is to actually upload this episode tonight. To beat the competition, since the competition likes to, poach a lot of our bits and stuff. But we can get into that Friday.
Yeah, we got to get into that. Gina, what did you send me?
Oh, I sent the episode overview on
Oh,
IMDb.
there's only 4 of them on here. There's more than that though,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
There's gonna be like a tell-all.
But
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
I
but I
wouldn't doubt that.
I like
Sure.
these titles. The boy who fell in the hot tub, the boy who loved his own face, the girl who played Mario Kart. I love these titles.
Hmm.
The episode titles. Oh, tonight was the girl who showed her butt.
Oh well, we know who that is.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I love these, but yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't give us a full episode list. So yeah, we don't know how many. I'm assuming between 12 and 15.
True. So yeah, let's end this puppy so we could upload it tonight and be ahead of the game.
Yeah, we got to be the first to post
Yeah.
because the poachers are going to be up early to post this information. So
Yeah. So
The vultures.
any other things you want to say before I do my little cheesy outro?
no, I think I'm good to go.
I think we did a good job. I think if TLC listens to this / Sharp listens to this, like I think they would say, you know what, you guys really hyped up our brand new show. We really appreciate y'all. You guys are the best. We owe you tons of thanks.
Well,
And
yeah,
so,
you're welcome, guys. You're
yeah,
welcome.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks,
So
Matt Sharp, for listening. Come
true.
again.
All right. Well, I guess I'll do my outro. Uh, thank you everybody listening to 90 Day Fiance Fridays on
Oh, it's a Monday.
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 Monday. And happy Memorial
Monday.
Day. Peace out, everyone.
Happy
Peace
Memorial Day,
out.
everybody. Good night.
Peace. Later. Good night.
Peace.